Hey guys, so today I'm installing one of these Oatey no caulk shower drains. This is the brass one, which I recommend over the plastic just from everything I've seen. So you can see the rubber gasket in there. And it's really hard to figure out what height to put your pipe and everything. So I'm going to talk about my experience a little bit and hopefully it'll help you guys. This is just an upright shower that I'm doing here. The main question that people had, and I had to do some digging to find it because there's no instructions with this, is how high that pipe should stick up into this, because you want the rubber to seal off good and you don't want it too tall or too short. So what I figured out, the short answer is from the top right here to the top of your pipe is a 3/4 inch. That's where you want to end your pipe. I'll include a diagram that I found on Oatey's website. They didn't have it in any of their videos, but they did have it in a diagram. So I had to do a little digging to find that. So we can get this installed into the shower base. What the level's doing here right now is I figured out what the edge of the pipe is, and so I made marks there so I have something to go by there. So every time I could reference off of that when I was getting this part stubbed in. Now that I did that, you can see the laser will help me find center like that when I'm gluing it in, and then this level here can be a reference for that way. So anyway, so that gives you a good idea how I did that. I just thought I'd throw that in there for free. What I did is I put the shower in here, just set it in. Then I set this in without any silicone underneath it. So yeah, I set that in there and dry fit it. And then I measured how far my pipe was sticking up into this, and it was a 1/4 inch too short. So I did a different piece and I'm gonna glue it in. When you open your drain up and you take this cover off, if you do not have one of these tools, return your item and get one that for sure has this tool, because this is very important. You're going to need this to tighten around that rubber gasket later with a big flat screwdriver. So sometimes that can be missing, so keep an eye out for that. I'll try to include a link down in the video description where you can find this drain if you're interested in it. Now the next thing, I'm using 100% silicone for this. Some people say to use plumber's putty. It depends on your type of tub. For mine, I need to do 100% silicone. Now I got a nice generous bead all the way across there. Some of it's going to squish out, but I'd rather have that than not enough. So then I can't really show this underneath there very good. So I'm just going to show you the order here really quick. So once I put that on, then from the underside, I'm going to put the rubber gasket and then put this on top of it, this thin gasket. Then you put the nut on, and that helps it not to bind on that rubber gasket when you go to tighten it. So just to show you the order, since I'm not going to be able to do it underneath there. Since this is a one-piece shower, I had to lean it up against the wall. This is kind of messy. Just going to set it in there. Oh yeah, you can see it squeezing out. That's good. I don't mind if it gets a little messy to know that there's plenty in there. Now, even though I said I couldn't show the order, I'm going to try to since I got it started. So you can see there, rubber gasket, and then this thin gasket here, and then the nut. You put it on there, and you want to tighten it probably with a big channel lock to make sure it's good and snug. Okay, so I'm not exactly sure how tight to tell you to make it, but just you want to get it nice and tight, I think, best you can. So if you're not familiar with the big channel locks pliers, that's what this is. So that helped me to turn the nut, and I actually had this little channel lock, which is actually an oil change filter, but I was able to use it to grip this lower part right here so it doesn't damage the threads. And I put one on here and one on here, just turned opposite directions, and it made it nice. And I wiped off the excess silicone here. So that's good to go. All right, guys, attempt one. I got this in here, but I checked it, and it's a little hard to show on here, but I'm about a 5/8, a light 5/8 maybe. So I need to take a good 1/8 off of here. And I checked it. It looks like it's about right to the top of that rubber in there. So I need to take a little bit more off because I think they don't want the water sitting in that little lip that's still showing there. I tried pushing down a little bit. I got a little flex in the pipe. I can actually push down a tad, but I can't get it to stay there. So I don't want it to have pressure upwards. If anything, I think I've heard you can do a trick where you put a cat's paw down in here and pull the pipe up a tiny bit if you need to. That might be what I try if I get it a fuzz too low, but I'm going to try for taking about a 3/16 off of there. Of course, this part's a lot easier if you have just a 2-piece tub or something where you can set this floor part down. since I have a one piece, I got it just leaned up here. So it's hard to cut it perfect after the fact, because when I first did it, I did it on a miter saw so that it was really easy to do a good job, but I cut it the best I could. Best thing I found in a case like this is to use a fine tool, like a multi-tool, and a fine tooth blade, and that does pretty good. Now this is after I got it cut down. So it came up to a 3/4 inch exactly. There's a few places where the rubber is down just a tad from the lip, but I think overall that looks really good. And it measures 3/4 inch exactly from the top of the pipe to this flange right here. So if you came to this video to find out what the proper height is for the pipe, that's what I found out. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If it was helpful, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and thanks for watching.